This is the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI Studios in Toronto, Canada.
Hey Toronto, this is Ed Sheeran.
This is Kelly Clarkson.
Hi, this is Bryan Adams.
This is Adele.
This is Madonna.
It's Michael Bublé, and you're listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep Show. It's fun. They're amazing.
Okay, this is a good one. Just a day away from Halloween. It is Haunted Refrigerator Night.
Wow.
This one's sort of self-explanatory, but you know what it means. Just the scary stuff you find in your fridge that is probably many years since expired. You didn't even know you had. You maybe find it when you do your annual, if you do it annually, your fridge clean out or reorganization. You find something. You're like, how did this thing survive? Sometimes you don't even know what it is because it's a different color than what it originally was, and it's got mold and it's turned into a sludge.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not okay.
Yeah, what's that for you, Steph?
It hasn't been in my fridge. I clean my fridge regularly because I don't want to find that stuff.
Oh, good for you.
But it was at work, at my old workplace. I opened the fridge and it had the same container that I had brought. Like it was like a takeout container, the circle ones.
Oh yeah,
with
okay.
the lid. So I went to go grab it and I was like, this isn't mine. And I opened it because I'm like, what's in here? I don't know what was supposed to have been in there, but it had like a pink foam that was hardened on it, and I couldn't even see what was underneath it. And then there was like white film around whatever it was, but that pink foam I've never seen in my life.
Like, was it like? Did it look like cotton candy?
No, it was brighter. It was a little bit brighter, and it looked like it had been bubbly at one point, but then it hardened. So almost like a bubble bath. But hard. It was so disgusting. That was some kind of like mold for sure.
Sounds like it might have been alive or radioactive.
I don't know what it was, but it was disgusting.
There was a whole new species living in that
thing. And this
thing.
is why I clean my fridge.
That's disgusting.
All the time.
You bring up a good point because the work fridge is probably the nastiest of all fridges because no one really feels an onus to clean it or to get like your home fridge. You're like, okay, I'm going to stay on top of this. The work one.
Yeah.
That one sort of falls through the cracks. Yeah. For me, this wasn't necessarily in the fridge, but in high school, a buddy of mine from high school, he was over and he was looking for a snack in my kitchen. He's one of those buddies who's over so much, he'll just go through, feel comfortable to go through your fridge or your pantry. And he grabbed some Oreos and he asked, do you have any cookies? I go, no, we don't have any. He goes, you got Oreos? I go, we don't have Oreos. Like, what? Where did you find those? He goes, those are in your pantry. I'm like, I don't know, man. I wouldn't eat those. We haven't bought Oreos in a long time. And I go, check the date on those. And he hands me the box while he's grabbed a couple. And as he's shoving them into his mouth, these things had expired in 1988.
What?
And this is high school in the late 90s. It's like 1999. We had these that were like 10 years old.
And there was nothing wrong with them?
I mean, and I told him this as he had one in his mouth, and he's like, oh, man, as he proceeds to put another one in his mouth. High school kids are gross.
So they're like Twinkies. They last forever.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. I didn't try them. I don't think they were fine, but he ate them anyways. What is the scariest thing you've ever found in your fridge? We'd love to hear from you. 416-872-CHFI. What about you, Blair?
Well, this morning I looked because I knew we were going to talk about this, and we had behind the jam was old 5-year-old pesto. You know those little green jars? So I had a look, and there was like this gray fur on the top of it. Like it was just disgusting. And I moved it around, and you could see the green pesto underneath it, but there was the gray fur on top.
Did it have like a funky hum? Did you give it a sniff?
I didn't smell it.
Oh.
But it tasted all right.
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI.
All right, it is Haunted Refrigerator Night, which is basically asking, what is the scariest thing you've ever found in your fridge? We've all been guilty of it. There's something you didn't even know was still alive, and it's in your fridge from years ago. Oh, boy, I'm kind of afraid to see what we're going to get here. What is the scariest thing you've ever found in your fridge? Let's go to Sean in Hamilton.
Moldy cheese.
Moldy cheese. How old and moldy are we talking?
Maybe a year old. It was green.
Oh, like was it like a brick?
Yeah.
The whole brick was green.
Pretty much.
And now it's Gorgonzola.
Yeah. I mean, that would make a good Halloween day. I would take that moldy brick of green cheese and I would hang it on my front door for Halloween.
Oh.
Yeah, it's terrifying. It's good.
Nobody would come to your door. It would smell so bad.
No, it'd just be a good Halloween decoration. Sean, thanks for sharing, buddy.
No problem.
Have a good one. What is the scariest thing you've ever found in your fridge? Let's head to Pickering. Here's Avery.
My mom actually found it, but when I saw it, it spooked me. It was this tomato covered in mold. It just looked like a fluffy ball.
Avery, how old are you?
I'm 12.
You're 12. Okay, so you found a tomato covered in mold. Did you know it was a tomato when you spotted it, or did you think Mom had bought some wild new vegetable?
Yeah, I did not know it was a tomato at first.
Okay, and you didn't like take a bite or anything?
No.
Okay, that's...
Or play with it.
But yeah, you didn't touch it, did you?
No, I didn't touch it
Okay,
either.
good.
Oh, did you ask your mom why she had such an old tomato in the fridge?
Yeah, apparently she just never threw it out and it was just left there.
Did you put your hands on your hip and judge your mom and go, Mom, you really got to manage the fridge better? Avery, what are you dressing up as for Halloween?
I'm dressing up as a pink lady from Greece.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
nice.
What a great costume. That is awesome. Well, listen, you have an amazing time trick-or-treating tomorrow, okay?
Okay, bye. Thank you.
Bye. What is the scariest... Avery's adorable, by the way. What is the scariest thing you found in your fridge? Doug Irwin texting in, one time I found some forgotten leftover pizza that had morphed into something resembling Chinese food. Bon appetit.
Ew, why does that even happen?
I don't know, Doug. That is filthy. I got follow-up questions, but I'm not going to ask them. Brian from Acton, what is the scariest thing you found in your fridge?
Well, it's not necessarily the refrigerator, but it was in the kids' school bags.
Oh,
So they came home on the last day of school, hung their bags up, and we just kind of forgot about it all summer long.
Yup, I've done that. What was in
The
there?
next school year, you open it up, and there's genuinely a brand new science experiment in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you remember what food was left in there? Because I did this in grade 8, and I left a banana in there, and there was like just a nest of fruit flies.
I can't remember. It was indistinguishable. You couldn't tell.
Yeah, I just took the bag out back and burned it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
much.
Brian, thanks for calling, buddy. Appreciate you.
Take care.
What is the scariest thing you found in your fridge? Joe from Brampton texting in. This sort of puts a nice bow on this whole thing. Joe says, but the real question then becomes, is that container washable?
No.
Or is it
It
trash?
is automatically trash.
I think it goes the way of the backpack. You take that container out
Yeah.
back, you set it on fire.
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
November 1st is like Halloween Boxing Day. If you think about it, right? It's like December 26th, but for Halloween. Because this is a day, I mean, you're probably heading out to buy all the cheap candy, right? Do they
Yeah.
mark it down the day after?
They do. Not as much as they used to, because they know that
really?
everyone's doing
You're
that.
still gonna buy
'Cause
it?
I want to go get my Reese's peanut butter cups.
Right, and for
My
half
kids
price.
want like 3. I'm like, what? It's ridiculous.
The shrinkflation's real on
Yeah.
that, by the way. So last night was Halloween. I was out and about taking coffee for a walk, and there's a public school in my area, and just saw the cutest little kids, all these 5 and 6-year-olds all dressed
Aw.
up. They're having this big sort of community party. It was adorable. I'm like,
Yeah.
I wanted to stay and watch, but I'm like, how long do I stay and watch until
Before
this
it's
gets,
weird.
till this gets weird? So
Before somebody calls the cops.
I did the 3-minute linger, then I'm like, all right, I
Yeah.
better move on.
They're the cutest though at that age. They have the best costumes.
Yeah, Dora,
Yeah.
what did you see in your hood?
So we weren't in my hood. We went to a different hood.
Oh, yes, you did this.
Yes, and so
You used the CHFI Monster Map.
we did. One of the houses that's on there is in that area.
Amazing.
Which we found out they're moving, so it'll be
No.
a new address next year. But anyway, so we waited till about 6-ish before we left our house. Not one kid came to my door.
Wow.
So we left, and I left a giant bowl of candy out there, and I said,
You did not.
I did.
You trusted the honor system?
I did, because I was like, well, I bought the candy.
This is an interesting social experiment.
Yeah, well, all my friends that have done it before said that there's always candy left over. So I was like, whatever. I've already bought the candy.
Please tell me you have a ring cam.
So I have a ring cam.
Yes.
So I
What
left
happened?
a giant bowl out, and I left a sign there, and I said, take a few, leave some for the next trick-or-treater. And then my alarm on the phone gives us notifications. It wasn't going off very
the motion
often.
sensor
yeah.
thing? Okay.
And I was like, oh, that's weird. Maybe because it was windy, I didn't know what was going on. So at probably about 7 o'clock, I clicked on the live feed. I'm like, let me see what's going on. Is anybody in our area? And as I clicked on the live, I see this one kid, and he's older. He's got to be like a teenager,
Oh,
by
man.
himself.
By himself,
By
eh?
himself. And I don't even know what he was. And he walks up my stairs, and he looks around. He sees there's a sign. He's reading the sign, takes off his backpack.
Oh, no.
And I was like,
that's
oh, there
trouble.
goes the bowl.
Oh, no.
And so he takes a couple and then looks around.
Oh, no.
Takes a couple more. Looks around. Then he starts shoveling handfuls into his bag.
Did he pick up the bowl and just
No,
drop it
that's
in?
what I thought he was going to do. But he took a bunch of handfuls, and I'm sitting there laughing. I'm showing my boyfriend. I'm like, look at this. And I didn't care because I'm like, well, there's not a lot of kids anyways, whatever.
Can you like talk to people on those ring cams?
So that's what I did. So as he's like, finishing his last handful, I turn on the mic and I'm like, looks like you took more than a few. And he kind of just did a double take. He didn't know where it was coming from. And he like slowly just jaunted out of there like nothing happened.
What did he get? Like transported here from the past? Does he not know how these cameras
it was
work?
so funny though.
That is wild.
And when I went home, there was still candy left.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
We believe in humanity. Bossman Blair, what was the best costume you saw?
We had a family show up, and they were dressed as the Incredibles. You know, the Greg T. Nelson, the animated movie?
Yes, great movie.
Full masks. They had the husband, wife, all on the street waiting for their kids, and the kids came up, hands on hips, like superheroes, trick or treat. And I went, and then I looked, because I saw them first, and then I saw the parents on the street, and I went, bravo,
That's
well
awesome.
done.
That is
they
adorable.
looked so good.
That
Every
is
detail
so
was
cute.
perfect.
You don't see as much living downtown. This morning, driving to work at about 4:15 in the morning, I saw a lone pirate stumbling across Spadina and
Yar.
Wellington.
Typical pirate behavior.
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
It is Diwali. Happy Diwali to everyone who is celebrating. It is the Festival of Lights.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah, so you'll see a lot of people. It's not the most energy efficient holiday because
A lot of lights.
we used to just turn on all the lights in our house and then light candles on top of it in every room, which could also be a bit of a fire hazard. So, celebrate safely. What this means, it symbolizes light over darkness, good over evil. Some people think of it almost like Indian Christmas in a way, because my family didn't do this, but a lot of families will exchange gifts.
Oh, that's cool.
But you get together with family, you have a nice meal, so it's got kind of Christmas vibes. It's a happy time. In India, this is a huge deal. Like fireworks, colors, just
Yes.
parties. It's a feast. It's a whole thing.
I love it.
Here, you will see certain houses. If you're wondering why some houses are like, oh, that house has all its lights on. It's probably an Indian house. That's probably what's going on. For my family, we always would light all the candles, and then in recent years, my mom's moved now to the house, but we would do like fireworks in the backyard.
Yes.
It was more so for my nephews. They loved it.
Why wasn't I invited over?
You know how I feel about fireworks?
Yeah.
I do not like. I like professional fireworks. I do not like
Mine
the
are
amateur
professional.
stuff in the backyard. Because every year, you know what happens? You've got it you light it, and then right before it's about to go off, the bucket tips over, and then everyone's just scrambling, hitting the deck.
This is why you don't
It's a
do that.
disaster.
You can buy the professional pucks. You light one end and you move.
Yeah, I'm telling you something right now. If you're doing it in your backyard, nothing's
You
professional.
don't do it in your backyard.
Nothing is
No,
professional.
You do
Where
it
are
in
you
a
doing
big,
it?
huge open field or
Where is
on the
Toronto?
big street.
Where are you going to an open
I can't
field?
divulge that information. I'll
you got
probably
secret
get
fields?
charged.
However you're celebrating, happy Diwali. And as Apu said, celebrating Independence Day, why not celebrate your country by blowing up a small part of it? Be careful.
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
I'm registered dietitian Abby Sharp, and on my new podcast, Bite Back with Abby Sharp, I'll be dismantling the multi-billion-dollar diet industry that keeps us in a cycle of self-loathing and food fear. Join me every Tuesday for expert interviews, engaging conversations, and my signature science and sass to bust myths, correct misinformation, and help you break free from diet culture for good. Listen for free on the Seeker app or wherever you get your podcasts.
this is the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Is it too early to eat jerk chicken?
No.
I've never had it this
Never
early, but
Listen, we've been up for almost 3 hours?
it's basically dinner time.
It's lunch. It's
I
fine.
told someone yesterday that I eat dinner at 3 p.m. when I was getting my haircut. I told the woman who cuts my hair, and she stopped, and she's like,
What's wrong
boy,
with
what's
you?"
wrong with you? I'm like, it's the schedule. It's National Jerk Chicken Day. Oh,
I'm so hungry now. Stop it.
other than vegetarians, who doesn't love jerk chicken?
It's so good.
Do you have a favorite jerk chicken spot?
I have lots of them. One of the ones I didn't know about that's kind of hidden. It's delicious. It's on Yonge, it's close to here between Bloor and Wellesley.
Okay,
It's
great. Let's
by
get
Isabella.
it. It's close to here.
The Diner's Corner.
Doesn't sound very Jamaican.
I know, it's so good
The
though.
Diner's Corner. Okay.
It's delicious.
Never tried it. The
Okay.
Diner's Corner.
It
Blair,
opens at 11 a.m.
it's too late. Blair, you got one?
When I moved here from Montreal back in the 90s, I was working with a guy named Humble Howard at Mix.
Right, okay.
And he said, I told him I'd never had jerk chicken before. And he goes, what? Come with me. So we went to the Real Jerk. It was
Oh, I've heard of
on
that place, yeah.
Broadway and Queen.
Broadview and Queen,
yeah. And it was amazing. And I don't think it's there anymore.
Oh, man.
But that was my first introduction to jerk chicken, and it was amazing. I loved it.
Sometimes you're just craving jerk chicken. There's nothing better. The spot I go to, because it's in my neighborhood, is a place called Chubby's downtown.
Yes.
In the King and Portland area.
That is actually my favorite, sit down,
Yeah,
take a
it's
night
nice.
and hang out there. It's so nice.
They got great cocktails, too. Yeah. Okay. Oh, man. Now I'm craving jerk chicken. By the way, do you remember, Steph? Because we haven't talked about chicken in a while. Do you remember last time we talked about chicken, we got into a spicy debate about whether you should wash your chicken or not?
We had our Jamaican friends over, and they... we got chicken. I ordered chicken from somewhere. I can't remember where. And she thought I made it. And she's like, did you wash your chicken? And I was like, no. And I didn't make it. And she's like, but do you wash your chicken? I'm like, no, because you're not supposed to. And yeah, it was very heated debate.
So you do not wash your chicken, and you highly offended your friend because you don't wash your chicken.
Because they wash their chicken. My mom used to wash her chicken, but I took all these food safety courses, and they say don't wash your chicken. It's actually worse.
There's two schools of thought.
Yeah.
Like I think a big part of it is cultural. Like we've seen our parents do it. So like I don't prepare chicken that often, but when I do, I wash it because that's the way I always saw my mom doing it. But apparently that can actually spread salmonella, and it's not how chefs do it. But if you've been doing it for 30 years, you're probably not going to stop now.
No.
Should you wash your chicken? We're going to revisit this because I don't know if we solved it last time. Yeah, it's happening. Should you wash your chicken?
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI.
It is National Jerk Chicken Day. And we are asking, should you wash your chicken? This is surprisingly divisive. Should you wash your chicken? Hyman in Toronto, what do you say?
Yeah, as you said earlier, Gertie, if you grew up in your household, see your parents doing that. I wash my chicken with lime and vinegar.
Ah, with lime and vinegar.
So for me, takes some of the rawness off the chicken.
And probably adds a little bit of flavor, too.
Yeah. And then when you season that, when you cook down that chicken, because what happens is sometimes you don't wash it. For me, when you cook it down, sometimes you smell the rawness when you cut into the chicken.
Right. Hyman, thanks for the call, buddy. We appreciate it.
All right, Gertie, this is your delivery guy. Have a good one.
Oh, it's Hyman. Okay, quick story, guys. So Hyman drives a delivery truck. He works in my neighborhood, and he would always stop me on the street to be like, yeah, he used to watch me on TV on the show I used to be on. And now he has switched over to CHFI. The last time he stopped me, he's like, now I listen to you on the radio. And I had said to him, because he sounds great, I said, Hyman, you sound great. He's always super upbeat and positive. Yeah. I'm like, you should call into the show. You sound awesome. He's like,
that's awesome.
He's like, no, I could never call in. And there you are. I thought I recognized that voice. Hyman,
and he
love
washes
you, buddy.
His chicken.
He washes his chicken. Hyman, I will see you in the neighborhood, hopefully later today. Question, should you wash your chicken? Steph used to, and then you took a cooking class where you learned you don't actually need to.
Yeah, to take my food safe courses, and then I was like, oh, you're not supposed to, so.
But like you're Italian, you probably grew up with your parents doing it. My mom has always washed her chicken, so I just wash chicken now because it's what I've observed, but apparently you don't have to do this. I don't know, old habits die hard. Christina from Vaughan, what do you think? Should you wash your chicken?
No.
How come?
Well, because when you cook it, and if you're cooking it at a high heat, it kills any bacteria. And as long as you cook it thoroughly, you're good.
And so all the people who have just been doing this for years, they don't really need to be.
No, I used to wash it before. Like years ago, I used to soak it in salt and water. And my mom also said once you cook it and you're cooking it at a high heat, and as long as it's cooked through and through, you're good. You kill any bacteria.
Okay. Christina, thank you so much for your call. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
See, it's divisive again this morning. We've had two callers. We've had a yes and we've had a no. We'll do one more call to see what we can get. The most common answers we're getting are yes, wash your chicken with water. No, don't wash your chicken. You don't need to, and you're spreading salmonella. Cooking it will kill any bacteria. And then we're also getting the people saying, I don't wash it, but I put lime and vinegar on it.
To try to disinfect it.
And also I think you're kind of maybe getting some flavor too if you're putting lime and vinegar on it as well.
Sure.
And killing the bacteria. So that kind of seems like the most logical thing to me, although I got to admit I'm a washer.
But before I put the chicken anywhere, like if I'm putting it in the oven or if I'm putting it in the pan, I usually season it. So
lime, vinegar, and then that's like the cleanser, and then you season it, I think, right?
And then you would season it?
I think so. I mean, I don't know. I haven't actually done this.
Would you rinse off the cleanser? See, it's
man,
confusing.
We've galaxy brained it.
Just cook your chicken.
In the shower. One more call here. Should you wash your chicken? Oh, look who it is. It's Frankie Flowers from Breakfast Television.
So I'm very active in the kitchen.
Okay.
Like very active. And I do wash my chicken before I prepare it.
You do wash your chicken. Okay, it turns out this is very divisive because there's a faction of people saying you should not wash your chicken and you're actually doing a disservice because you're spreading like salmonella and things in the sink. This is from chefs.
Yeah. I don't know. I wash my chicken. Just saying that I wash my chicken, if people just turn on and that's all they hear, it's going to be very weird.
We're also gonna clip that and play it later out of context. Honestly, though, Frankie, I think it's like a cultural thing because, like, you're Italian, Steph's Italian, I'm Indian. We all grew up with our parents, like, washing their chicken. So it's just been passed down culturally. So I don't know. We'll see if we can figure anything out today.
Yeah, my parents wash their driveway. Why wouldn't they wash their chicken?
Right? Frankie Flowers, you are the best. And I wasn't just making small talk. We actually are going to clip this and play this years from now out of context.
I don't know. I wash my chicken.
There you go. When you hear that, it will make no sense. That's how Frankie gets canceled.
Thanks for listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Listen to Pooja and Gurdeep live weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Only on 98.1 CHFI.
Toronto's perfect music mix.
I'm registered dietitian Abby Sharp, and on my new podcast, Bite Back with Abby Sharp, I'll be dismantling the multi-billion-dollar diet industry that keeps us in a cycle of self-loathing and food fear. Join me every Tuesday for expert interviews, engaging conversations, and my signature science and sass to bust myths, correct misinformation, and help you break free from diet culture for good. Listen for free on the Seeker app or wherever you get your podcasts.